Well, hello, everybody. You should have seen the behind the scenes turmoil we just went through with StreamYard. We are now on Zoom. We could not get the three of us to not echo. It was amazing. Anyway, welcome to a discussion on Fevered Star, the second book of the Between Earth and Sky. I guess I need to mirror. Or does this look right to you guys?
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
look right to us. You're the only one that
Okay.
sees yourself backwards.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm out of practice with Zoom, but this is a discussion on Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is the second book in the Between Earth and Sky trilogy. If you missed it, we did a chat on Philip Chase's channel about a month ago. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. We had a really, really great discussion about the first book. As with all of these chats, we'll start spoiler free, although books 2 and 3, it might be a shorter section since it's part of a series. But I am joined here with Mr. Philip Chase. Sorry, Dr. Philip Chase. Don't want to downgrade your title there. And
Yeah.
of
Call
course,
me
John from
Philip.
Talking Story. John and I, is this our third year doing a buddy read in the middle of the
Yeah.
year?
I think it is a third year. Yeah.
It is. Before we know it, we'll be at year 10 and we'll have read some amazing things. So, anyway, we are here to talk about Fevered Star, and we're going to start spoiler free. So, Dr. Chase, you're top left in my screen. So, why don't you start? What are your overall thoughts about this book, spoiler free, before we dig in?
I enjoyed it. I am glad we're reading this trilogy, and I appreciate you two allowing me to crash the party here by joining you in these discussions of the Between Earth and Sky trilogy. Yeah, for me, I think when we had our discussion of Black Sun, I probably sounded overall the most positive on it. And although John loved it too, John
Yeah.
loved it. No, so yeah, so but I do get what your primary, I think, Josh, your primary issue, whatever you want to call it, was. And I kind of agree that I think I would love this even more if it were fleshed out a little more. That it could use that I mean the story has that potential to be that expansive to be. And yeah, I know that the author Rebecca Roanhorse thinks of it as epic fantasy, and I'm not going to argue with that. But I'd love to see more epic. It has the story has I certainly, but it is what she wrote, and I'm so glad I'm reading it, and I feel just as invested in the characters, really, for the most part, and I'm enjoying where the story is going. I think she's doing a brilliant job with the themes that we talked about last time. But there's an incredible lot here in terms of othering and in terms of seeing oneself in one's foe. I do have another favorite scene in here that actually is that theme is done really brilliantly in my mind during that a particular scene when seeing oneself in the other, seeing oneself in one's foe, seeing the humanity in the other person that you thought of as your foe. Um, and just getting more deep into the lore and everything else, the things that we usually love about reading epic fantasy, and the world building in this case with its Native American inspirations. I'm just really loving that aspect of it as well still. So those are pretty much my spoiler-free thoughts.
Okay, absolutely. John.
Still loving it. Still a possibility to be on track to make my favorite trilogies list, but it all hinges on the end. She's left it all up to how this wraps up. And I kind of absolutely take your point even more, Josh, after your points on the first book, after getting to the second book. I loved some extra time we got with side characters and fleshing them out. I love the Mesoamerican settings. I love some of the characters. I love some of the mysteries. I love some of the themes that we talked about. I loved some set piece moments. I love some mysteries getting cleared up and some new ones coming into play for book 3. But at the same time, it's like this is for epic fantasy. This is a pretty slight volume. And I thought for me, it had a little bit of that middle book syndrome. Like, oh, you could have maybe moved a touch of this to book 1 and maybe a touch of this to book 3 and had a duology. Like, I didn't know if I had a full feeling of this arc of adventure here in book 2. We got a little bit further in our main characters. We spent a little bit more time with some side characters. but I didn't have that perfect middle installment like I do like from Empire Strikes Back, where you really have an arc of beginning, middle, end, where it leaves off, where it starts. And I didn't feel that. I just felt like, okay, here's the middle part of the story and a few things happen, but it's really going to get wrapped up cool. That's what I'm hoping for. If it really does stick the landing and wrap up cool, we're still on target to make my faves list because I liked so much of it. But for me, I liked book 2 a little bit less than I enjoyed book 1.
Oh, Empire is kind of a high bar.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. It's a high bar.
So, I liked book 2 a little bit more than book 1. And I know that's a minority opinion for most people, because I know when I talk to people on the Discord when we were going to read this, most people said they liked book 1 and then it fell off after that. And I was so happy when I read book 2 that the things that I had the biggest issue with in book 1 were improved upon and kind of eliminated in book 2. Namely, the pacing wasn't so breakneck. It seemed like book 1, we had to go from this point to this point to this point to this point, and there wasn't a lot of time to sit with the characters, to sit with the world. And here, because the pace was so much slower, I felt that she was able to really get into those characters a lot more. And I felt myself connecting with several of them much deeper than I did in the first book. And then the other thing is the world. I mean, I think we all liked the world, and I think we all wanted more of it. And I did feel we got a bit more of it in this story. So I definitely like that aspect of it. This series, it's not destined to be a favorite for mine, because I did feel that the kind of the big confrontation at the end kind of fell flat for me, except for one brilliant line of dialogue in there. I thought the ending just kind of fizzled a little bit, but there's aspects of the ending that have me super excited to continue, which I didn't feel that at the end of book 1. I mean, I felt better after our chat, but I was still a little kind of trepidatious going into book 2. Like, am I going to like this or not? I don't feel that now. I feel like I'm invested in the story, and I feel like I really am just anxious to see, how she closes this out. And well, I know the first 2 books are about this thin. The third book's a little bigger, so perhaps we get a little bit more of the epicness. But generally, I'm positive on this book, and definitely more positive on the series after book 2 than I was book 1, for sure. So, any other spoiler-free thoughts? And if not, we can just jump in and start talking about some details here.
I don't know if I could say anything without kind of being spoilery.
All right, well, let's jump in. Spoilers. You guys did this on the
Spoiler,
GGK thing, so spoilers. I'd like to go through characters, because I think that's we did that last time. I think that works pretty well here. I'd like to start with the character that I wanted to see more of in book 1, that we got a lot of in book 2, I liked, which was Okoa. I really liked seeing Okoa. So what are some of your thoughts on Okoa? Maybe John, you start this time.
Okoa is he's the merchant, right? That's set.
No, he's a carrion crow. He's the brother of the matron of the carrion crow.
Okay, yes. The
one who finds Sarapio and
yes, with the raven. Okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoy he's almost torn. I love his arc and his character arc, because he's truly torn between 2 masters here, and what he and his belief system and what he feels is right and proper to do. And it's a really interesting journey for him. I enjoy the character quite a bit because he is honorable. He absolutely wants to do the right thing, but he is so torn on what that right thing is.
Yes.
Is it to go along with these rebels of the Carrion Crow crowd that have been waiting for this resurgence, for them to be on top again? Or is there more going on here? He's starting to see chinks in the armor of Sarapio with this power. Like, maybe no one should have this much power. What, all these people are camped out here. The religious fervor is getting palpable. Are we on the road to something truly bad? Should there be brakes? Should I hit the brakes? Should I just go along? And it's that type of journey really mirrored for me how the best parts of how this book worked. I really enjoyed the religious fervor building. I really enjoyed everyone camping out. And when Serapio walks out into the crowd, how he's immediately, just surrounded, and all of this fervor building up, and Okoa being kind of right at the center of that, kind of at this fulcrum of making a decision of which way he's going to go and which is the most honorable, best way for his people, whether they realize it or not. So I would say his journey for me mirrored myself the most of my own thoughts of some of the themes that were going on. Truly enjoyed his journey.
Yeah, I was so glad to get so much more of him in this book. Philip, what are your thoughts on that character?
Yeah, I think John nailed it. I mean, once he figured out who Okoa was.
Yeah.
I'm crap on names too.
Well, I thought because the merchant that sent Seiala on the journey from book one that we get so much more time with, and I can't think of his name right now.
That's Balam.
Balam, yeah.
Yeah, like he kind of starts the book. So I thought
yeah.
I was thinking beginning of the book, that was it. Okay, so
Yeah.
but still, no, that's not that's me. That's me.
I'm sorry, my friend. I just had to do that. But yeah, no, John nailed it because as William Faulkner famously said, and many people misattribute this quote to George R. R. Martin, but it was William Faulkner. The only thing worth writing about is the human heart in conflict with itself. And I think Okoa best illustrates that in this book. That this is a character who is divided, who does not know what the right thing is to do, and is an honorable person, wants to do what's right, has his loyalty to the Carrion Crow clan, has connected to Serapio in a human way, called him a brother, which is one thing that is very important to Serapio. That was a great moment, and also just, he has to think about the overall good too, though. Like, this person is a threat to their existence. If this crow god, Sarapio dude, whatever he is, becomes too much of a threat to everyone else, that becomes a threat to his people. And so he's got to figure out what is the right thing to do here and he's in a tough position, really, and not an enviable position. So he tries to do what's right. There are some really great moments with him and his cousin as well, who turns out, I thought from book one, there was something shady about Chaya. Was that
Chaya? Yeah.
There was something shady about him, and he turns about, and as soon as we heard that there was a plant within the Carrion Crow, among their guards or whatever, I thought, okay, that's Chaya. And it was.
Yeah.
And he did not kill Okoa's mother, but he basically helped bring it about, the death of. He sat there and did nothing while Iktan killed Okoa's mother, which, we'll talk about Iktan, I'm sure, but but anyway, I think that that was another moment where Okoa he loves his cousin. He's looked up to this guy forever.
Yeah.
He's his role model, and he let this horrible thing happen. And he's also telling Okoa, no, they had that whole scene where I thought they were going to have it out there, where he brought him to the practice with the bow and stuff. I thought, ooh, this is going to be ugly. But the ugliness happened a little bit later, when Chaya tried to kill Serapio, and Okoa acted more or less in defense of Serapio in that moment. But that poor guy, he is the walking illustration of that Faulkner quote.
Yeah. And he's been in the middle of so much. I mean, he comes back from, because he was not there originally because he was at the warrior school or whatever. And then he's right there when Narampa gets attacked. He's in the middle of that. And now he's in the middle of this. He seems to be just, things are coalescing around him and he doesn't have the control of it. I loved his kind of relationship that developed with Serapio. And I took a few notes as I was reading, just some scenes that I liked. And there was a scene kind of towards the end of theirs where Serapio kind of turned away and he wanted to reach out and comfort him and touch him on the shoulder as a friend, and he held back. And seeing where Serapio's arc might be going, I wonder if that's going to turn out to be significant or not. Because I guess we could lead into Sarapio next. I wonder, I almost feel like Roanhorse is setting up Sarapio as going to be the villain, perhaps. I mean, he's done some really bad things already.
And Numa's pretty bad too, but the making of the Golden Eagles.
but I just wonder where his arc is going because the way he was introduced, traditional fantasy setting is he's one of your main characters and we're on this guy's side, but you think about some of his actions. I mean, he's a god reborn and he has killed and is going to continue to kill. And is he going to get worse? Is it going to get super dark? Is he going to end up being the big bad of the series, or is there going to be some redemption or something like that? I don't know. What are your thoughts on Serapio and perhaps where his path might go?
Well, there's Sarapio, the boy, the human, who's been
Mm-hmm.
buried beneath the layers of this god. And then there's the Sarapio who is the crow god.
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends on whether or not that human is going to be able to emerge. And we've seen that human side of him. We've seen that longing, particularly, and it's still very much alive. And we can thank Seiala for that. Like Seiala is the one who has most brought out his human side, um, other than maybe his mother. And his mother is the one that kind of set him up for all of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't really say that
I
she's.
can't say his mom set up his human
Yeah.
side.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
I mean, I guess what I mean is that he felt a personal love from her, even as she was doing this to him, which is
Yeah.
like, whoa, okay, that's a little messed up, but but that was a sacrifice she was making. Like she had sacrificed her own life and she was sacrificing her son for this greater purpose, which again, we talked about this last time, but we have to remember that most cultures have a stronger sense of the we, the communal, right? That the you, the individual, doesn't matter as much as the communal. And I think that's something you certainly see here at play. We very individualist Western people tend to look at that with horror, but a lot of people in a lot of times would have seen that as very virtuous to give up one's life and the life of one's child for the greater good of the group, right? So I just keeping that in mind. I don't want to be too hard on Seiya. Was that her name? Seiya, I think, was the
I
mother's
think
name.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, going back to Serapio, there's the human and there's the god, and which is going to prevail, which is going to, rule at the end of it. The god seems to be pretty much using, and again, this is about the greater good, I suppose that's one way of looking at it. But the god is not really invested in the future of human Serapio in any way whatsoever. He's a vessel, pure and simple. And of course, we modern Western readers are like, oh, we want him. We're kind of rooting for the individual to prevail. So we'll see. And a lot of horrible things have happened to Serapio's people. And there are some wrongs that should have been made right that haven't been. But does that justify the slaughter that the
Mhm.
Crow God perpetrated? I don't think so. But the brilliant thing here, and I'm going to jump to my favorite scene, and you guys can tell me what you think of the scene, is Narampa's interaction with Serapio. Initially,
Yeah.
he's just like, sun priest, yeah, and goes after her. That's the crow god going after the sun priest. But Narampa succeeds in having a human conversation with the human Serapio in the midst of that. Even though they tear each other to bits, it's her initiative. And this to me was Narampa's book, in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Previous
Uh,
book, I liked her character a lot in the previous book, but this book was where I felt like, all right, Narampa, I'm with you. She's my hero in this book. So I loved that scene near the end where she's trying to de-escalate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
She's trying to see the human in him. She sees this boy who's been wounded, who is actually longing for human contact. And she herself understands the balance of light and dark, and that the crow god and the sun god are actually dual aspects of life, and that they ought to be in harmony and balance with each other, not in this eternal strife and conflict. So that I'm really curious to see where that goes. I don't think that the voice of reason will necessarily be listened to, otherwise it would be a very short third book. But I love what that scene brought out, thanks to Narampa, and I'm sure we'll talk about her more, but I love what that brought out in Serapio as the human. That gives me some hope for him, but this does seem like a kind of a gritty story where anybody could be
Hmm.
killed. So I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know if I should hope too much. I really am hoping that Seiala and Sarapia will have their romance, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
I wrote down a quote from that scene that Narampa said that I really like. She said after, they kind of cease a little bit, she says, because this is not you, this is not us.
Yeah,
And that was
that's it.
like, that was to me, that was like the whole scene for me was good. And then that for me, that part of the scene was just like, okay, this is what this is about. And then you think about, I'd made a note earlier about, you mentioned kind of the dual nature of the two gods, but each of these characters also have an interesting dual nature.
Hmm.
You mentioned, I mean, with Serapio, how you have kind of the human and the god, but also he's the person from the Obregi Mountains, but
Hmm.
he's also with a crow god. So there's like a dual nature there. And Naranpa being from, was it Coyote, I think?
The Coyote
She was
Clan.
from, yeah, she was
Yeah.
Yeah.
from Coyote Clan, but then she's also the Sun Priest. So there are these really interesting dual aspects to these
They're
characters.
outsiders in a sense too, aren't
Yeah,
Hmm.
they? Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, John, what were your thoughts on any of those? I mean, Serapio to
Yeah,
first.
there's a lot here. Love
Yeah.
that scene. Love that scene at there when Naranpa and Sarapia faced off, because it's kind of at the end of the book, and it's almost a subversion, especially when they come into contact before, and just like Sarapia disintegrates into that cloud of crows that chases Narampa, and you're like, okay, at the end, this is going to be a knockdown, drag out. One's going to limp away, one's going to, but it's like there was almost a subversion of that. It was actually like a conversation, and it was that human moment. I really liked that. I really liked it. It didn't go where I had maybe thought it was going. It went somewhere else. And I love that you brought up that quote, Dr. Chase, because like we're talking about Ochoa, this is the human heart in conflict with itself. That duality is very much both sides of the human heart. And he's a character that I connect with so well because he is fully human. The rest are Serapio, Naranpa, Ixala, these are all suspended between earth and sky. They're a vessel for a god, and yet they haven't entirely let go of their humanity. Like they're right in between. They're not truly gods, and they're no longer just humans. They're all on this journey, and I wonder with Narampa's journey, where I can't wait to see is when she goes to this place where the gods crashed and burned before, almost giving you like a cyclical Ragnarok feel of this mythology. What's going to happen? How much of her humanity is she going to lose when she goes there and finds out all of these mysteries? And how much is it taking a toll on Serapio to carry this God, to be this vessel? He's losing himself. He's trying to hold on to himself. But he's not comfortable whatsoever with this fervor around him and these things that it's calling for him to do. He has moments of doubt. He's pulled as well. There's dualities aplenty, like Josh was saying, almost with every character as you look at. So I the more we talk about it, the more I think I like book two than I than I thought I did. And we haven't even got to Zala yet. I thought this was kind of her book in a lot of ways that sets up so much of the mysteries for book three that I can't wait to get to. So
No, that's great. Yeah, and with just thinking about trying to anticipate what happens, I think that's one of my favorite things about modern fantasy is that trope subversion happens a lot,
yeah.
but almost not subverting the tropes is kind of a trope subversion for modern fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So will she, the storybook ending is Seiala will help Serapio find his humanity and they'll live happy ever after. But modern fantasy that might not happen. We may see the evil side. So um, that's going to be interesting because it is hard to predict where the story is going to go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all these three characters, particularly that because Yuzalis, especially, now that we find out that her mom's alive, and that pull back to her own culture and their beliefs and the powers that she carries within her, right? Serapio on this journey, how much of himself is going to be quashed by the crow god when it comes down to brass tacks of what the crow god wants? Maybe because you can see the capricious nature of the crow god. It's like when Serapio kind of calls and wants a little power, I got no time for you. When it's something the crow god wants, oh, he can, he's there. He's there and ready to exert that power right away. And now after Narampa shows this moment of human connection with Serapio and kind of diffuses that whole situation when they're together. Now, like I say, now that she's going off on this journey, how much of herself is she going to lose? They're all, I'm not sure what's happening at the end, how they're going to come together, how much of their humanity they'll be able to hold on to. And I'm not sure it's for the better of the community and humanity at large that these gods that are resurging and bringing magic back to this world have in mind. It's really a question for me.
Yeah, there's no side for you to say, at least at this point, they're right, they're wrong.
Yeah.
It's we're still figuring that out.
I also like how much in this journey, this tug of war between God and person that we see in Serapio and now in Narampa, how much the human side makes me feel connected to the characters. And this happened for me with Narampa and her relationship with her brother, Dena Ochi, which I thought was handled beautifully. I would have loved even more of this relationship in here, but it was handled very well. And him being her shield and taking the knife for her and all of that, and testing her early on, like when we meet her, she's in her grave.
Yeah.
This is something he's arranged in order to test her. How much do you really want this? But also, what I love about it is that he reminds her of where she came from. He reminds her of her human connections, and that's going to be a vital part of her, I think, going forward. As much as she's going to grow into her powers, I think that reminder of her human side is going to be really important. It's going to play. Dena Ochi may be dead now, but he is going to play a big role still, I think, going forward in being that reminder of her human side. That's what I love about her, is that she is capable of seeing past everything else and seeing the human, the person in the entity before her. So her relationship with her brother is going to be a vital part of her journey still, I think, even as she transcends, learns to use these powers, which are really still very new to her. But I love that relationship and the guilt that she feels for leaving her family and not really thinking much about them, and seeing what's happened to him, how he was exploited and how he had to claw his way into a position of power, doing some probably horrible things in the process, and what that made him. So she has just there's a lot of complexity in this relationship too. It's not just a simple, oh, I love you, little brother. It's there's a lot of guilt there. There's there's a lot of a sense of missed opportunity. That's one of the tragic things about his death, is that they were just starting to know each other again, in a sense, and then he was taken away. So, but I hope that she'll continue with that human, concern that is deep in her heart. That's one of the things I love about her character.
Seiala was my favorite character in book one, but it was definitely Narampa in book two. I think just her journey, because I mean, she was laid so low at the end of book one, and her journey kind of back. The only part of it that confused me was I didn't understand why the whole thing with Denochi getting tortured, like with the witch and all that. I didn't understand the point of that.
When the other bosses in the maw were
Yeah, like
stuck him with knives and everything else.
yeah, I didn't understand the purpose of that scene. It just seemed like, I don't know.
So he had made a promise that his sister was going to essentially lead the Maw and overcome the carrion crow and whatever was going on among the big shots across the river, right? The what are they called? The clans, the Sky Maid, because they've
They're
been
elevated.
they're
Yeah.
ostracized. They're the nobodies of this city. So he had made a promise to the other bosses that, my sister is going to, she's got this power and and then she basically said, nah, I don't think I'm going to do that. And
Yeah.
so he had to show up without her and say, okay, I blew it and I'm prepared to face the consequences, which was that bloodletting ritual that essentially you said you were going to do something, you failed, therefore you face the consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I read it. I don't know, John.
Yeah, that was just a weird scene.
I read it the same way. And then at the end of that, of course, it pushed, to see her brother like that and to see what he's taken for her,
Right.
pushes her to make that, yes, I will step forward and take over the underworld, basically.
And Zataya plays a role in that too, the witch who has an important relationship with Dena Ochi and had saved her life as well, So.
Yeah. But it was really,
of our
right.
two.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, and I was going to say, just of our two characters that are kind of torn between God and human, it feels like Naranpa will lean more towards embracing the humanity of herself, whereas I think Serapio, coin flip. It's hard to say.
It depends on whether or not he's able to reunite with Seiala.
Yeah.
And it depends on where Seiala is after reuniting with her mother.
Yes, that was interesting. What did we think of that? I love seeing more Teik for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Bring on the Teik.
Bring on the Teik, and she's on the cover of book 3 on the versions we have, Josh. So I'm hoping is like book 1 was kind of Serapio's book. Book 2 was really Narampa's from her rolling back the big rock of the tomb. Yeah, there you go. With the tentacles. Yeah. Rolling back the rock and ascending from the tomb and gaining her magic. And I'm hoping book 3 is a Teik centered book, because I love the siren aspect of, if they want children, they lure the sailors in, and then after that, do you no longer matter, buddy? There's some brutal mythology here with that group, which
from a male perspective,
the mom takes no prisoners. The mom
just basically sperm donors.
Yeah.
No, I loved where that went. So I also loved the reveal, because it's one of those where sometimes we know more than the characters, that when we find out that it is Ikton and Seiala, they're traveling together. I thought that was a very interesting dynamic when you figured out how those two characters were. And then how the character, I forgot her name right now, the one that was kind of leading that expedition, how
the younger daughter.
Yeah, so you realize how young she is by the end, and at the beginning you're looking at her as this big leader. Yes. So I loved the writing in that portion of the story, because I thought she did a good job at kind of obscuring a lot of the things that we were seeing. Because I think had we known at the end that character was like that, we wouldn't have had any fear for Seiala earlier. So it kind of ratcheted up the tension. There was one scene though that I felt she rushed writing, and that was when she delved into a little bit of Seiala's backstory later. And I did feel that was a bit rushed. And I thought that was another moment where I was like, oh, slow down, give me more. Because I really want this. I really want the lure behind this.
I agree. I agree with that. I could have done with more of how Seiala viewed love and the potential of that in her culture versus how her culture viewed it. And I thought you could have definitely lingered there. I would have been with you if you'd have lingered there longer.
Yeah, she just kind of rushed through it a little bit. It was good. It was a good. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I like seeing a little bit more of her backstory, because even though we did get a lot of her in the 2 books, there's still a lot of mystery around her. So I was so excited for that, and then just it went a little too fast for my taste.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say about Ziha, Josh, if you ever want to look like a strong leader, just start poking out somebody's eyeball,
That's all it takes.
Try that on your students. Next time they act up, just start taking out eyeballs,
Yeah. Put that instrument down. I'm going to take this baton and just...
You have a baton. That's right.
I do. Boom.
I really loved Ikton and is Seiala traveling together.
Yeah.
Because as we're finding out what Ikton did through Ochoa and his cousin, all that. It's like it's almost like a different. She almost comes across as a different character as she's traveling with Seiala. It's that duality again, kind of the character. Like she did what she thought was best, and she carries these decisions with her, and at the same time, she appears to be a pretty good traveling partner, kind of looking out for, try it's I enjoyed the on the road buddy travel feel of that part of the book.
I do have one little gripe is I wish there was a map in here. Because
Oh, you
when
don't
Would
have
have
the
been
map.
cool.
No, because when they were traveling, I wanted to know, like, at least on a map, how far it is away, because when they're talking about how they may attack and all of that, and there's no map. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I got a map of the whole meridian and then a map
Oh,
of
really?
Tova as well.
really?
Yeah.
No.
Come on, Broken Binding, you can do
Yeah, we
better.
don't we don't have we don't have that.
We don't have a map.
I also like part of
Ah,
the oh, look at that. Yeah. I also like part of the Teak uh mystery of the Teak is their homeland moving. Like,
oh yeah. Oh
that is a
wow.
great part of that too. Yeah, I mean, we did not get that. We did not get that.
Wow. You got to buy the fancy edition like me.
Yeah.
So, no, Seiala, like you, Josh, was my favorite in the first book, and Narampa in the second, but I did enjoy the dynamic between Seiala and Iktan. Iktan is a character I feel a little ambiguous about at this point
Yeah.
She
because
could go either way. Yeah.
you've got this person who is willing to do some pretty horrible things.
Yeah.
And I know that's sometimes people in positions of power justify doing some horrible things because they're doing it for some bigger purpose, for the greater good and all that. But Iktan is done has some of it's been, I mean, there's been some betrayal there, right? Uh, I'm trying to use the
Yeah.
pronouns in the book. Z
Oh yeah.
betrayed uh, Narampa,
Yeah.
essentially, also is using Seiala. Clearly, it's not just like, okay, we're buddies, we're traveling mates. It's if I have to use you, I'm going to do that. You're basically a little piece on the board, and I will play that piece if I want, if I have the need to. But I love the scene where Iktan defends Seiala, and that
Hmm.
seems like a genuine human,
Yeah.
like a thing to like. There's a friendship that's forming there.
Yeah.
And there's a personal level of you mess with my friend, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. And those two guys, the woman had her eyeball poked out. Those
Yeah.
two guys are gone because Iktan took care of them, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The ones that were,
He's definitely an enigma because I don't know his end goal. Like, what is he trying to do?
or Z or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. What is, yeah.
What is Zur? I can't.
Z and Zur. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 What
I
is
don't know.
Iktan trying to do?
Yeah.
I mean, Iktan is again within her. I don't. House is not the right word, but within her group of the Sun Priests, she's
The assassins.
She's the assassin.
Yeah.
She takes care of stuff. So it's like she probably very well sees this in a whole different way. And I'm wondering if this journey and relationship with Seiala makes a difference, and then possibly the finding out that Narampa's still alive and a reconnection there. Like, I wonder if that could tip the scales for her character.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. A fascinating character. And
Yeah.
again, the divided loyalties and
Mm-hmm.
machinations and all of that. I don't see that Iktan is in a very winning position at the moment, though. And the other thing that hasn't happened yet is nobody has told Iktan, except Seiala left a message
Mm-hmm.
that Narampa is still alive.
True. Yeah.
Numa keeps that piece of information from Iktan deliberately, knowing that would change everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Iktan would probably be gone, as soon as
Oh, she's out of there. As soon as she knows, she's out of there.
he knows that information. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's another one's going to be interesting. I did love, we brought this up, or I think after we had stopped recording, but something cool if you've read these books is I do like how in the dramatis personae they scratch out the people that are
Yeah.
dead. I
That
don't
is, I
think I've
have
ever
that
seen
too.
that in any book before, and I just
I
found
do
that
like that.
so
It is a
interesting.
spoiler though, if you read the Dramatis Personae first,
Yeah.
and you realize Iktan's name is not scratched out. That wasn't, we thought Iktan was dead at the end of book one, right?
We
We
didn't
didn't
know.
know
Yeah.
Yeah,
until
we didn't
this
know.
book. So that was a bit of a spoiler if you looked at the list and you realize, why isn't Iktan's name struck out here? Because Z was among the victims, right? But
Right.
Yeah.
no, Iktan played that little trick again
Of
where
she,
it's,
th-
oh, I had one of my subordinates wear the mask instead of me because I don't like ceremonies, you know?
that
Uh,
assassin's trick of disguise was used
yeah,
once again. Yeah.
yeah. And of
What?
course,
Go ahead,
given
Doctor.
nonchalantly, but I think probably as usual, Iktan wanted to be observing things from somewhere else, you know? So sorry, John.
I love that little moment of Serapio being damaged, injured to the point where he couldn't heal himself, and it's that little sliver of the sun mask.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was pretty cool. I really liked that.
Yep.
That was really neat when you got the reveal that
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
heal.
It
And
turns out
these,
to be kind of a yin yang thing too, because you need some of the light in the shadow, and you need some of the
mm-hmm.
shadow in the light, and so now he has some of the sun god's power, and also Narampa has some of the crow god's power,
Yeah,
right? They've
yeah.
exchanged that, yeah.
There's duality in every character and all through this. It's very present, and I also really like the mythology of these masks being uh, ceramically made or cast or however they are made from the sands of this place of this desert place where these gods crashed and burned. And that is, I can't wait to get to this place, man. I can't. That is my number one for book 3 is to get me with Naranpa to that spot. I got to find out what's going on.
Gonna be a beach resort, John.
I doubt anyone. I doubt anyone wants a timeshare in this spot. That's all I'm going to say.
Uh,
Margaritas by the, on a lawn chair.
one thing we didn't talk about was just some of the magic that I really loved around Serapio. One of you had mentioned when he turned into the crows, but
Yeah.
even the communal nature with the crows,
Mm-hmm.
how it actually even gave a little bit of humor at one point where the crow told him like, "Oh yeah, Okoa rides like crap" or something like that. I liked kind of the communal nature of that as well, but the scene, I think John, you brought it up very early when we were talking about the scene when Serapi goes down to the people and they basically mob him and start trampling him,
Yeah.
and the crows come in and take him out of there. Like I could picture that scene so well. I just love that. I would love an adaptation of this thing, just for some of these visual
It's
scenes she's able to portray, because
it's
I think she
really
does very well
cinematic.
at it. Yeah,
Really cinematic. Yeah.
so I liked those things.
I
Uh,
also love how she goes for it with the magic in general. Like there are a lot of things that took me by surprise in terms of, oh, Serapio can do that. And at the
Mm-hmm.
end of this, he basically transforms his minions among the true believers and says, all right, if you really follow me, stab yourself in the heart.
Yep.
yeah,
What?
How
and they
brutal
do.
is that? And
And
they
then
do.
he transforms them into, we don't know what these warriors now can do, but it seems like he builds his, this was cool, his
Oh,
like
the throne.
the throne and the shrine
Mm.
and everything all around him through his blood power and all that. I mean, I was like, whoa, I love that you're going for this here. That was cool.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another, use of that magic. Is he again? Is he going to end up being the crow god? Is he going to be the kind of the force of evil in this third
He's
book?
kind of tilting in that direction in that
Yeah.
scene.
And
Yeah.
that's what I wonder. And I again, that's one reason I love modern fantasy, is because you really can't predict whether, what direction things are going to go. And I think here, especially because of the dual nature of so many characters we've talked about, so many characters can go different ways.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
going to be very interesting, kind of the end of his arc, where it ends up, whether he ends up being a tragic figure or Seiala redeems him or what happens.
For what Narampa can bring, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the situation is what it is now because of the imbalance that first was created when the the Sun Priests massacred the Crow clan and disempowered them and said
Right.
we tried to shove their gods in a closet. And now Narampa has knowingly left Tova to Serapio, to the Crow god, because he's saying, look, we've had all this imbalance now. Now it's our turn to be in charge. And she's like, yeah, okay. I'm going to go off and learn how to use my power. I'll be back.
Yeah.
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 So it feels like there needs to be a restoration of balance. That's what needs to happen.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
I have hope for Serapio still because the Rampa did reach him. He's still
and we know
there's still
Seiala could reach him. We know
yeah,
Seiala
we
could
know
reach him
Seiala can reach
if
him.
they can reunite.
I think he's still just that lovable emo boy, just bit off more than he can chew. He's buried in there.
That emo boy still killed like 2 of his teachers though too.
Yeah, I know, and made his minions by having them stab themselves in the heart and reform them. And it's like that is one thing I will say. This series has some like crazy set piece moments. I think that's why it'd be such a great adaptation. The visual aspect of it would be stunning because the set piece moments are, wow, that really swings for the fences.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what did we miss?
We got to talk about our guy that starts the book. What's his name? The one I missed.
Balam.
I mean, we got to talk about he's the one that's really looking like the antagonist here to me. Like he's the one really trying to pull the strings, really power hungry. I don't see duality in this dude whatsoever. Like he's strictly straight down the line trying to grab the levers of power, be damned what it cost anyone.
Yeah, none of these nobles from Quecola are particularly nice people.
Yeah.
And you've got Balam, who is definitely manipulating, and now he's got his hands on this dream walking power, which he got through killing the guy he hired.
Death magic. He's using some death magic.
Blood magic, death magic. And then you've got the woman, the Lord, what was her name? Toon? Was she Toon? Yeah, I think it was Toon, right?
I think so.
She has some kind of earth magic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So she seems very dangerous as well. And then you've got that idiot Petch, which, he was killed by Seiala after attacking her. But essentially what Balam is really have the Jaguar clan or whatever.
Yeah.
Quecola. He's a dangerous dude. And I agree. Yeah. I agree. He's kind of along with Numa. And they're kind of all
the Golden Eagle,
the Golden Eagle lady.
Yeah, she's up to nothing good. She's
all
the same.
Colluding. Yeah. They're doing something, right? And
it's interesting because Balam has almost played a puppet master behind the scenes in all of this. Hasn't been in the front because like until you started talking, I started remembering everything. Like, yeah, he's omnipresent, but he's not in all the scenes. He's not there much, but like his fingerprints are all over everything that's going on. I mean, Serapio, I mean, he's a direct
used him.
He's a reason for that. And
now he's trying to use Seiala by making her his spy among the Teik. He may have met his match though in Nasut, who seems to have taken over like the Spear Maiden. The Hokaia city basically went from that we don't ever meet him, but we know he's toast, right?
Yeah,
Where was the administrator guy? The Spear Maiden's like, no, we want to take over again. We got this. So.
But I could see Serapio hanging on to enough of his humanity to where when he comes in contact with Balam and the Golden Eagle matriarch, what's her name?
Numa.
Yeah, I could see. Okay, they had a hand in this whole coup that brought him into Ascension and gave him power, and they might not be able to control what they've wrought. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, he was meant to die. Right? They thought.
Oh, he's not supposed to be.
Yeah. They were not happy. He was not happy about that.
Yeah. So Balam is a villain for sure. Yeah. Dangerous dude, but also he's playing with some fire there too. I think he's going to get burnt.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm here for it. I want to see the burning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Is there anybody else we've missed?
Well, there's Balaam's cousin, the former knife who was Serapio's tutor, who's Poega, something like that. I can't remember. But that character is an interesting one to me because, again, Poega, or however you say the name, fully knows that they've been using Serapio, but also got attached to Serapio,
Yeah.
in a paternal or maternal, whichever, a parental role, and felt bad about using Serapio this way, and is still loyal to Balaam, but is definitely and is kind of a creep too for doing what's been done, but at the same time, you can see a more human side to Poega than you can to Balaam. So that may also play a role in the future where
Yeah.
Poega may do something to help Serapio in a moment, which will really piss off Balaam, but we'll see. Yeah.
Because he's another one that's one of the few that sees Serapio, the human side of Serapio.
Right.
Like him, Seiala, and well, Narampa, just
Now
recognizing the dual
Narampa.
nature. So
Yeah. Yeah. I can't think of anyone else that sticks out.
There.
We did meet, I mean, Numa's daughters are more fun than Numa.
yeah.
The older one is, I think she seems like a jolly sort, but also dangerous. You
Yeah.
wouldn't want to
I
mess with her.
I had the whole Golden Eagle
There's a,
clan. I get a bad vibe from.
yeah, they're trying to get ahead. Uh,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I
yeah,
think so much is left for the third book. Like there's
Yeah.
so much left for the third book. I could have I that's why I just feel like I almost feel like I didn't get a full serving in book two. I got some great moments. I got some character further. I got characters going further. I got some mysteries, but I almost feel like I didn't get a full plate. I feel like it was a sampler, and it's so much is left for the third book for me. It's kind of how I was left feeling.
but what was in the sampler was pretty good.
Yeah, great
Yes.
moments. I totally agree.
So I guess final thoughts. I think we're kind of towards the end.
Yeah,
John? Is that your final thoughts, or you
I guess
want?
that's kind of my final
Yeah.
thought. Like after talking, like so often is the case. After talking and going over it with you guys, it's like, yeah, there was some great. I really did like it. It's like I say, I think it will stick the landing. I think it's very interesting look at this duality between God and man and magic and avarice and power grabbing, and this mythology is amazing. The cinematic set piece, huge moments are great. Like I think she's going to stick the landing. I think I think the end is just going to take it from where it is up to here for me. Like I fully expect that going in. I'm very very heartened that book 3 is the biggest chunker of the 3.
mm.
For sure. Philip.
Yeah, I'm similar to John. I am glad that book three is longer. I feel like this is a story that deserves uh, that scope, and I have that. It's not a complaint because this is the story that we've been given, and I've enjoyed it. But I feel like it has room for that, and
Yeah.
so yeah, let's see what happens. That how it delivers on the promise of these first two books, which I've actually enjoyed tremendously. So. I'm connected to these characters. I'm
Mhm.
invested in the outcome for them. I am honestly, my heart wants, Serapio and Seiala to live happily ever after, but my mind says that it probably is not going to happen. I don't see that happening. So if I had to really make a prediction, I'd say this: we got some tragedy ahead of us for our characters. But I don't know. Narampa. I think that if anyone comes out of this, if it's going to end on a positive note, if anyone comes out of this, okay, hopefully it's going to be Narampa. Iktan has some sins to pay for, I think. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't think Iktan is living through the third book. I don't think Serapio is surviving. Uh,
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I don't know. We'll see. Iktan for sure is going to make a noble sacrifice or something.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but
Balam doesn't make
oh,
it.
Balam does
Oh
not make
yeah,
it. No,
no.
no, no Balam. We're gonna have a
Yeah.
Balam sandwich before the end here. So
Yeah.
No, I don't
I
think Roanhorse is going to do like Abercrombie level subversions,
no.
where Balaam ends up as like the only one left, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah, I mean,
think
I just going forward, I am so much more positive than I was after book one. I feel totally invested. The one
yeah.
thing that I wanted so much more of was just this world and just seeing so much more into it because, again, this is non-medieval inspired fantasy, and we don't get as much of this as,
Yes.
you know, kind of the, you know, we get a lot of the medieval, and now we even get more Eastern, and we of course get, you know, Nordic and Viking, that kind of thing. So it's nice to just have a different feeling in fantasy because the setting is a bit unique. So I'm glad that in the second book she was able to dig into that a lot more. And of course, as someone who just loves characters, you know, I started to connect with a lot of these characters. But I'm with you, Philip. I hope that Saranpa ends up, you know, being survive not just surviving but thriving at the end of this.
Yeah.
I would hope that that's the trajectory for her character arc. So I guess we'll all find out.
Team Narampa.
Yeah. What about Ochoa? I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't make it. If he doesn't make it all the way through.
I don't know. I bet he ends up as the new patriarch of the Crow clan. Or does it have
Maybe.
to be a matriarch?
I think it's a matron
It
all
has to be a
over.
Yeah.
matriarch. So I don't know. Yeah, that's right. His sister was in the like
Yeah,
one
his
or two
sister's in the
scenes
power
there.
seat
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of his sister so much,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess time will tell. So everybody that was here, if you're in the chat, please drop us a comment. Tell us what you thought of Fevered Star. And we will be reading Mirrored Heavens sometime in August. And the chat on that is going to be on John's channel, Talking Story, probably sometime in September. So these are not huge epic fantasy. So even if you haven't read them, you can jump in and
Oh
probably
yeah.
finish the third one by the time we get there. So, you know, come join us and we'll have a great discussion about Mirrored Heavens. So thank you, Philip and John. This has been a fascinating chat. I'm really excited to read the third book and enjoyed the chat today and look forward to the one that we do in a few weeks. So goodbye, everybody.